Hi, my name is Paul Zajac.
And I am Ole Stana.
Welcome to Boss Battles Top 5. This is where we look at other people's material and identify 5 cool things that you can bring home to your game. And today we're looking at Curse of Strahd Twice Bitten, as run by Dragna Carta. And we're discussing what he does to really bring this battle alive. So with our number 5, Ula, why don't you tell us?
So the first thing I got on my list is one of the players using the spell Shatter to break one of the doors that Strahd locks. This is within the scope of the spell, but I found it kind of clever and maybe not something every player would think about.
Yeah, I agree. And it was a fun use of the spell. All right, moving on to our number 4 place. Also, a another kind of unusual use, I think, of an ability was the bard uses the cutting words ability to reorganize the initiative against Strahd. And I think that you might think of using this ability in other contexts, but I think we forget about initiative sometimes, and it really did disadvantage Strahd, allowed the party to get a lot of stuff done before you could even move or do anything.
Yeah, it's important to remember that the initiative is a dexterity ability check, and thus it is affected by everything that affects ability checks.
Right, right.
In place number 3, I have another use of a spell that I wouldn't have thought about, where the players simply use Blink to be able to look through walls while in the ethereal space, and thus figure out where Strahd is, so he can't get away from them.
Yeah, I really like that. When I was listening through it and the character cast a spell, I'm like, I don't know, what is this going to do? And it took like a couple of rounds or even just a few minutes for it to be like, oh wow, that was really smart, because Strahd ultimately, of course, fled somewhere up some stairs, and this character just like stuck their head through the wall and was able to look up and see where he was, which I thought was awesome. Yeah. Okay, so that brings us to our number 2, and I think this is an ability that is like directly written. It's in the Strahd's stats. His ability to charm people, but I think Dragna Carta really brought out or emphasized how difficult that can be in making asking his players, "Are you looking directly at him when you attack?" And so then they knew that there was a risk. Okay, well, if I do, maybe I'm going to get charmed. So many of them chose not to look at him, and therefore Dragna was able to impose disadvantage on their attacks, which really upped the kind of power level of Strahd. And that's, I think, sometimes one of the complaints about Curse of Strahd that you see written is that, like, my party was too powerful for him, but this is one of the ways that you really bring out the power of that vampire.
And for sure. And speaking of Strahd's power level, our number 1, we have also talked about how Strahd locks doors using his abilities, how he goes through walls to hide from the party. And this is how Dragna Carta really ups the challenge here by having Strahd flee to regenerate, to move through walls, to split up the party, having them search for him, generally making the battle very hard. So we have both run Curse of Strahd, and both of us opted out of this. What did you do in your campaign to make him more challenging?
Yeah, so I think one of the hurdles was that, like, after reading that Strahd can do all those things, I just didn't know what that was going to look like, and I didn't know how to play it. And I think that if you're going to run, if you're running Strahd and you're not sure how to run the battle, this is a great episode to watch, because it's a practical example of like manifesting those abilities of what Strahd can do. So yeah, you're right. I didn't have him closing all the doors. In the end, my party went down to Strahd's lair, to where his coffin was, and they lured him in there, and then used a spell to block the exit. So that really, made him a lot less powerful, because I think as soon as Strahd is like cornered, and that even happens in this thing where he gets into sunlight and then can't just poof dissipate into smoke. You can surround him and pin him down, and then it's very hard for him to escape. And that's kind of what happened when I ran it, is that like they immediately were able to stop his mobility. And so it became a much shorter battle. It was still fun, but I think there was less tension than in this one where like, where the hell did he go?
I think it's important if you do this approach that you convey to the players what is going on. In this instance, the GM says like, "This is not the way a coward fights. This is how a predator fights." So the group kind of knows what to expect. It could be very frustrating for the players if they can't lock Strahd down, if they're
Yeah.
used to normal D&D combat. That is why I opted out of doing the approach like this. Instead, I just plain old doubled up his hit points, but I made the players understand that if he didn't want to stay, he wouldn't stay. He would do the cat and mouse game. So they opted to enrage him, to use his psychological weaknesses, of which he has many, to make him stay and fight them in a fair fight. So an
Yeah.
angry Strahd is a Strahd you can defeat.
Right. That's another good way to play it. And one of the things, thinking back to how Dragna Carta ran it, I think that blink spell really fed into the player's advantage because he could just disappear and be anywhere, right? And you don't know where he is, but they had some means to like continue to follow him, which was pretty clever, and it I think it enabled that cat and mouse game to happen a little bit more on an understandable way for the players, so they just didn't go like, "Oh my gosh, where is he now?"
Yeah.
And so both the players and the DM fed into that, and it worked really well.
As always, you as a GM know your players and their characters best, so go for the approach that you think will be fun.
Yeah, right. It really
I,
it really depends,
yeah,
and
but,
especially with this.
in this battle, it is really fun. It is exciting. It's scary. They don't know where he is. I liked it a lot, despite having opted for something completely
Yeah.
different myself.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. I hope you enjoyed it and got something out of this for your Strahd game. And we'll see you next time on Bass Bottles Top 5. Thanks for watching.